I firstly will talk about the current offer of direct-to-consumer genetic testing and related ethical problems, and then I will briefly talk about services for consumers who bought DTC testing. What happened in last 15 or 20 years is a huge drop in price of sequencing. So technology that allows us to read DNA. And imagine a car, a fancy, fast car, which costed once $500,000, and in 15 years the price drops to 50 cents. So of course what happens, everyone buys this car. And this is what's happening with high throughput sequencing or next generation sequencing. The companies which sell testing, they took advantage of this technology and started offering testing using this technology. Now we can buy whole genome sequencing, so readout of our of all DNA of our cells for 600 euros. This is an example here. And from whole genome sequence, many various types of information can be retrieved. It can be information which is useful in diagnosis, or it can be screening information which gives some indications that someone may have given disease. It can be information about possibility of having given disease in the future, or information about response to drugs, or so-called pharmacogenomic information. The testing is being offered at different stages in life. A career screening is offered to people who think about having children, and it tells about probability of passing on a disease on their future children. Genetic testing is advertised directly to consumer, and it's testing of embryos, which is done in the context of in vitro fertilization, and it's done to select embryos to transfer, to establish pregnancy. This is advertised directly to consumer as well right now. And there are more and more diseases or conditions for which this testing is now available. Prenatal testing is available, it's advertised directly to consumers, and this is now so-called non-invasive prenatal testing. So a blood is collected from mother, and in this blood there is DNA of a child which is analyzed to get information about his health. So this is very non-invasive procedure. There is direct-to-consumer testing for newborns as well, which here the company says that it supplements the newborn screening, which is routinely performed in hospitals. There is testing for children, and Santa will tell us more about this. Not only the offer of testing is wider and it's targeted to a wider audience, the business model of companies changed as well. Companies are gaining profit not only from selling genetic testing, but they also collect, which invite consumers to making their data available for researchers or companies, and they are paid for that. And this raises questions: what's the impact of such practices on science overall? We may imagine if this will become more popular and more people will take advantage of this, who will be able to pay to access the data and to make research on that. And this is challenging to open science model in which data are meant to be open and available to many researchers. To sum up, we see now that the offer of DTC testing is expanding. We have more data available, more results is being reported, and the offer is targeted to wider audience. We have still ethical issues which are even more profound, which relate to validity of results, consent, advertising, and consumer-driven eugenics, and how consumers' data are used. And these are not all the issues related to DTC testing, but a few selected. To finish this presentation, I would like to emphasize that, which is in a way obvious, that DTC genetic testing, it's a money-driven business, and the companies not often have in mind the well-being of consumers, but they just want to earn money. And I would like to quote a sentence from CEO of Council, one of DTC genetic testing companies, who said that the company has intention of making expanded carrier screening as routine as taking folic acid, non-invasive prenatal screening as routine as an ultrasound, and hereditary cancer screening as well known as a pap smear. So at least some companies have planned to expand and make their testing more and more popular. So there may be more ethical issues in the future. I have been working with Dr. Heidi Howard on these issues, and this research is funded partly by a project called Sienna, which is stakeholder-informed ethics for new technologies with high socioeconomic and human rights impact. Thank you very much, and I look forward to hear your questions.
Thank you, that was excellent. I'm Hayenhjelm from Bioethics. You mentioned a 40% false positive rate, but most of the companies look at single nucleotide polymorphisms where the answer is yes or no. It's rather straightforward. I didn't quite understand what you meant by false positive rate.
I would have to look at the paper to be sure. But I guess they saw a variant in a gene, and they were wrong about that. That there was no. Sorry.
The interpretation and association.
I think there were problems with interpretation, but it was also about analytical validity. So the variants that they found, they were wrong. They were not there. Yeah.
The original analysis.
Yeah.
I think I might want to say something about that. My name is Emilia from Denmark, and I just wanted to supplement your answer because it was a technical problem. So they were not able to reproduce the findings from the original analysis. So it was not only interpretation of the variant, Strictly analytical. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
And,
thanks for your presentation. Really good. Most of these companies are based in the US. So for us in Europe, we don't really have a regulation to address what's happening in the US or control these activities in some way. Or do we? I mean, what's happening in Europe in this area? I know in the US, the FDA has been trying to set up a regulation. They had some back and forth with 23andMe, but nothing much really happened. They had banned, but then you see that all these companies are thriving still. So what's the situation in Europe? Could you give us just a short
So
summary?
there is a regulation of European Union on IVD medical devices, which now encompass this offer of DTC testing, and it seems that it sets higher requirements for validity of the testing, and it will be enforced in 2012, if I'm not wrong. So it may change something. However, I guess the problem is not only about whether we have the law, but whether we can execute that on companies which are not based in Europe. But Santa may have more to say on this issue. She is a lawyer. So. Santa, do you want to follow up that or?